What's up, y'all? Capone Tony here, and welcome to another Ever Crisis video. In this video, I'm going to be going through Guild Battle 9, giving you some tips, some tricks, some strats, some team setups that you can go with, and yeah, trying to help you do decently well in this guild battle. I will say right off the bat, if you didn't pull on Tifa, man, the Earth setup, her limited Earth setup in this 1.5 year anniversary, you're going to be severely handicapped in this guild battle because she's the one that does all the heavy lifting, all the heavy DPS. If you have a Yuffie, just her alone, it's just not good enough for higher stages. You know, she's probably maybe good enough for clearing lower stages, but yeah, having Tifa is just almost required to really do really good damage for this guild battle. So, without further ado, I will go into some setups here. Let's check it out. So my main setup here is I'm going to be running Tifa, Aerith, and Angeal. So my setup is obviously Tifa. She is the main DPS. She's going to be doing all the damage with her new weapon, and Exploit Weakness is going to help that weapon do even more damage from Blue Daffodil. Aerith, she is the buffer / healer on the team, and then Angeal is our Earth Resist down with defense down character. So with this setup, we're able to get the most out of our Tifa DPS. She's boosting her Earth potency with the new weapon. Aerith is boosting physical attack, and Angeal is lowering Earth resistance and defense. So Tifa in this setup is going to be hitting like an absolute truck. The gimmick of this guild battle, though, is if you're whoever has the highest physical attack in this guild battle is going to be targeted by Odin for the majority of the fight. So the trick here is for me, I am trying to get Angeal to have more physical attack than Tifa, which is, you know, somewhat difficult to do, I assume, for a lot of people. But the cool thing about these two weapons here is they both have physical attack on them, so he's pretty easy to get to physical attack 7, I feel. And the cool thing about Tifa is you can, or these quick hero blow materias, they give you earth potency. So if you just equip 3 of these, you'll get a lot of earth potency. You know, almost, you know, some people might be like an Arcanum costume's worth with a little bit of P attack on the side. So yeah, I mean, that's still really nice that you can kind of like lower the P attack, but you're still getting a ton of damage just from the earth potency from this materia. So that's the way I am able to get Angeal more physical attack than Tifa. But that is the main gimmick of this fight, is that now Angeal will take all the pressure off of Tifa from getting hit by Odin, and he's the one that's going to be taking all the hits. But yeah, I'll go through the whole setup right now. So we'll start with Aerith. She's running the trusty, true, amazing Kamara and Baja setup. So pretty straightforward here. She's running Kamara for the P attack all allies buff, and then Bahamut Rod for the heals and the physical defense up. So the important thing about this, though, you have to run Kamara right at the beginning of the fight, because even though P attack is higher on Angeal, Tifa has her ultimate weapon that's going to be raising her P attack automatically at the start, 3 tiers. So you got to get that 3 tiers up on Angeal, and you got to match it for the majority of the fight. If Tifa has 3 tiers up physical attack, then Angeal has to have 3 tiers up physical attack, or else Tifa will get targeted, right? So yeah, that's very important. So these are the main weapons here. Also throw on a D-Brave, because you don't have any other way of lowering the physical attack with this type of setup. So just throwing in a D-Brave will help, you know, make Odin do a little bit less damage. And a big Cura, just in case. Big single target heal if needed. But yeah, pretty straightforward setup here for Aerith. Citric one, I just use this for the getting buff debuff to level 7. Stream Slasher for just P attack all allies, and then Rocket Lance for boost attack all allies, and a little bit of buff debuff extension. So with this setup, Aerith is at level 7 buff debuff, which is like the most important thing, and she's getting 60% from her Kamara costume. I know people are probably like, hey, why aren't you running Baja? Because Baja only gives 5 points to boost attack all allies, and I'm already getting, that wouldn't help since I'm already getting boost attack from Rocket Lance. So this would boost this 5 more points, which wouldn't put me into another tier, so that wouldn't help Tifa do any more damage anyway. So I might as well just wear the Kamara outfit just so I get the extra buff debuff extension, which puts her at like, what, 260%. And the cool thing about this, I noticed that with this 260%, the PATK All Allies buff falls off at a very convenient spot in the fight where I can apply it. I have a decent window to reapply it, and without Tifa, you know, being in danger of taking a big single target hit from Odin. So that is another cool thing about this 260% buff debuff setup. So all right, that is Aerith. Tifa, obviously just the absolute beast of this party. Gauntlets of Worthy, very, very strong weapon, 1165% with the brand. PATK All Allies, boosts Earth potency, very, very strong. Blue Daffodil, exploit weakness 40%. It's just going to improve her damage by 40%, so this is incredible. And yeah, one of the things I forget in my mocks and runs and stuff is to reapply exploit. Don't forget mid-fight. That's one of the things I always kind of forget, is reapplying exploit. So make sure you don't forget, like in the middle of the fight, to reapply it. TO3 Model N has been an amazing physical attack stat stick, 62, 26. Guide Gloves, 30, 52. If you don't have Guide Gloves, maybe an enemy launcher would work pretty well for you as well. And then I'm using Leather Collar for just HP and Earth potency. Sequoia Dendron is a very popular weapon here, but I only have that OB6, and that wouldn't really help me much. So I kind of like Leather Collar here just for the extra boost to your HP. And if I'm running a stage 6, you can actually survive the Zantetsuken or whatever with that much HP with Tifa. So that is pretty cool. So even if you do get hit by that, you'll be able to still continue the fight and do more damage in a stage 6 type of setup. Alright, so Angeal, like I said, he has to have more P attack than Tifa, and he gets help from Bahamut Greatsword. Even though this is part of the armory, it's still worth it to put it here. Then I do something like Stingray for the more P attack and Wind Resist. Wind Resist is very nice in this fight because Odin is mainly a wind damage dealing enemy. And then Rest in Peace because it has boost attack, Wind Resist as well. So with Angeal, he is at level 7 P attack, level 4 physical defense up, level 2 boost attack, wind resist level 5, so he's getting a 40% wind resist. That's really big. And then buff debuff level 4, and that is pretty much it. So with his stats, he's at 276 defense with 40% wind resist. Very, very good for your tank. So there we go. I forgot to go through Tifa's, like, all of her stats. So she's at 12,000 P attack here. She has level 6 P attack, level 7 earth potency, level 5 ability potency, level 5 physical ability potency, and then the 30% and 20% from her costume. With all these P attack all allies buffs and boost attack all allies, helps a lot. So there you go. That is my main setup here. The main sticking points of this fight are reapply P attack all allies at the right time, like right when it's about to fall off Angeal. Make sure you get it right back up there, or else Tifa might take a big hit from Odin, and you know, depending on the stage, it could one-shot her. So it's very, very important to that's the first thing that should be on your mind, is making sure you are reapply that P attack up buff on Angeal at the right time. And then the other thing, like I said, reapply exploit weakness when that falls off as well on Tifa, so you're able to get the most damage out of her. Alright, so that is pretty much my main setup. Level 74 buff here. So obviously this battle is very heavily favored toward physical ability potency. It's you have to fill this out with Cloud and Kate Sith weapons. Most of mine are coming from Cloud, but Kate Sith has some OB10, 9, 8 weapons as well, so he's contributing those a little as well. And I have a decent amount of gear in this buff armory. So yeah, if you're running a magic setup, at most you're probably only going to be able to clear like stage 1 and 2, I feel, because magic is just heavily nerfed in this guild battle. Even if you have like the best Vincent and the best like Sephiroth, you're still at a very big disadvantage compared to running like a Tifa setup. So yeah. Alright, so alternative setup. Double DPS is viable, but I would only suggest this for like stages 1 through 3. Because, yeah, once you get stage 4, that's when I think you feel like you need a healer, maybe. I don't know. I haven't run this setup too often, but I think it is viable for lower stages. But, yeah, higher stages, you kind of want Aerith or you want like a Barret in your party to be an additional tank. So, yeah. So with Yuffie being added to this party, I would just give her something like Hawkeye with Arctic Star. She'll be able to apply the physical attack buff to Angeal when that falls off. And then I give her something like Ultimatic, Bahamut Greatsword, and Wiser Staff because of the Earth Potency. So, yeah, that's pretty much a Yuffie setup I would go with. I just gave her kind of similar stuff where you got to make sure she has good amount of P attack, but less than Angeal. Because Angeal, ideally, is going to be the tank again. So Angeal, he does have the most, again, with this setup. I think I tweaked some things a little bit. Gave him Ivy Collar, and then I just gave him type 90 for high physical defense. So he doesn't have wind resist, but he still has pretty high physical defense. You probably need wind resist, like I said, if you're going to run this on a higher stage, but I don't know. I still feel this isn't ideal for higher stages. Like 1 through 3 is probably good enough, I feel, or that's probably the best it can do. Tifa, again, you know, pretty similar setup to what I already showed in the previous team I have, my main team. So yeah, this is kind of an alternative for lower stages, like 1 through 3, I feel. And then the tank Barret, I feel, is a setup a lot of other people are trying to run. I kind of like the Aerith setup better because I love my AoE heals. It just feels safer overall, in my opinion. But if you do run a tank Barret, you'd have to have his new weapon, the Fafnir rifle, to kind of provoke the enemy here. So you can provoke with Barret, and you don't have to worry about this P attack, you know, threshold here. You can just give Tifa as much P attack as you want, and then Barret will just provoke. But again, once provoke is getting ready to fall off, make sure you reapply it, just so Tifa doesn't get smacked, surprisingly, and she ends up dying, right? So that's another thing. So if you go with provoking Barret, I'd probably go W machine gun. If you want to be safer, you could probably go electro cannon just so you can lower physical attack. But W machine gun works. You'd have to switch up Angeal a little bit. Instead of running his greatsword, you would probably run Stalwart. This way he can boost physical defense and P attack all allies. So yeah, this is kind of the alternative setup to kind of make Tifa, you know, not limit her, making her the highest damage she can with her P attack, you know, and you don't have to make her under Angeal's P attack, right? So this is the third setup. I tested this a few times. I don't like it as much. Other people might like it better. I've seen people run this. I think the meta setups are this one and the Aerith setup. So it just depends, I think, which ones you like more. Or Aerith might just be better. I don't know. I haven't experimented enough or seen enough people running both. I think most people I've seen have run the Aerith setup. But yeah, the tank Barret is very, very viable as well. So yeah, those are the 3 main setups I would go with. If you can't replicate these, you know, completely, you can just kind of maybe pick a combination of these 5 characters and just try to make a team out of that. You could do something like I did. If you just have nothing when it comes to physical Quake, you could do something I did 2 guild battles ago where I had exploit weakness weapons. I had exploit weakness Tifa. Now I was running an Aurora Materia. So you could do that. You could use exploit weakness with a Quake Blow Materia for this battle. I mean, it's better than nothing, right? And it might surprisingly, you know, do some pretty good damage if you know, obviously if you don't have Tifa's Earth setup. That is an alternative. You could run it with Sephiroth, exploit weakness, and then Quakira Blow. So yeah, those are alternatives. Magic setups, again, I don't recommend because you're heavily nerfed in the buff in the armory. But if that's all you have, then, you know, you can still probably do maybe a 100% clear on stages 1 and 2, but that's pretty much kind of what you're limited to if you're running a magic setup. So yeah, that is pretty much it. I'll give you a mock right now. I can clear 100% stages 1 through 3 extremely easily. Stage 4 pretty easily too. Stage 5, I'm kind of around in the, like that 60% range. Stage 6, I think 25-ish. So I'll run a stage 4 here, and then maybe I'll run a stage 6 just to see how I do. So yeah, I'm going to run my main setup here, and let's get into it. So like I said, we're going to start out with Spiritual Harmony, get that buff up right now. Going to use Blue Daffodil. Get haste applied. He's going to get Sock Slash in there. We're going to get the physical defense up. Now Tifa's just going to go to work here, doing damage. Dang it, Aerith. Stop. Oh my god, I'm in auto. That's why it's screwing up. Oh my goodness, Aerith. So ideally, I want to get physical defense up. Aerith is like, no. And now I'll do Jubilation. Just to get this ATB up. Typically for Angeal, I usually swap back and forth between these two. Get the Veil Shields back up, get the debuffs back up. But we're getting closer to the point now where that buff, the physical attack buff, is going to fall off. So now we're going to reapply Spiritual Harmony. So it did fall off. But it falls off at a convenient point where now Tifa isn't going to get hit. He's using rings. So now the attack buff is back up there. And now Tifa can be safe from getting hit. Got to reapply these debuffs now. We did get what's it called back up, the exploit weakness. And now it's just kind of DPSing from here. See, pretty sloppy run at the beginning because I was in auto, but still pretty good shape. So he is almost dead, got a good 30 seconds left. And there we go. For this Gale battle, I think I'm going to be assigned to be the 100% stage 4 clear, and as you can see, that's pretty much of a cakewalk for me. So there we go. That is my stage 4. Pretty straightforward. Like I said, reapply that physical attack buff right when it's about to fall off. If you're a provoker, reapply provoke, and make sure to reapply exploit weakness. Don't forget, I almost forgot. So there you go. Those are the most important things for this skill battle, in my opinion. Alright, so let's try stage 6 now. I haven't run this in a while, so this one might beat my ass a little bit, but let's see how it goes. Alright, again, reapply, or apply Spiritual Harmony as soon as possible. Gonna put on exploit, do this. Tifa, gonna get Ravaging Axe Kick in there. Apply this. Gonna apply defense up. And then we're gonna get this D-Brave in here. I'll wait a little bit. Alright, we'll apply Jubilation now. I'm trying to time it so ATB doesn't go wasted, but it kind of did. So, same type of fight. Just keep applying these debuffs here. Heal up with Aerith. Then once the P attack buff is about to fall off, make sure to reapply it. Aerith is doing Rune Res because, that sucks. Alright, so here we go. Gonna apply this PATK Up buff now. We're good to go. Doing some pretty good damage here. But we're almost at the point now where he is going to go into Zantetsuken mode, or whatever it's called. Actually, he usually goes into it much quicker for me. Okay, he's in there now. So here he goes. He's going to be getting in a big ol' attack here. So, like I said, my Tifa can actually survive this. She actually has enough HP. And we can continue the fight. So we'll get Jubilation in there now. The fight's almost over though, so I'm going to go into attack tuning now. And just use summons. Kind of a sloppy end there, but, you know, it is what it is. I don't think I had exploit weakness applied either. Typically he does the big attack much earlier, but I think I kind of prevented it a little bit. I kind of had one haste proc go to waste too, but oh well. Let's see how I did. My average has been about 25-ish, so yeah, 26. Yeah, new record. Okay, yeah, so almost 27%. Pretty much my typical run. So, yeah, that's pretty much my stage 6. Again, the main things you gotta be aware of: reapplying physical attack up buff, or if you're provoking, reapply that provoke buff or status right as they're about to expire, just so Tifa does not get smacked. And yeah, that's pretty much the most important thing. And exploit weakness, reapply it, just so you're doing the most damage you can. So yeah, that is my video on this guild battle, Guild Battle 9 for Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. I hope y'all found it either helpful or entertaining, or yeah. If y'all enjoy my Ever Crisis content, please give this video a like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all on the next one. Later.